morning with an open mind and an open heart, and with muted electronic devices, please. If this is your first time here, or your 101st time here, we are glad you are here. This community is what it is because of your presence. So welcome. Welcome into the space of love, support, justice, compassion, fellowship, and worship. We are glad you are here. Although our doors are open, the pandemic is not over yet. So while we are here, please keep your masks on and socially distance. We can speak in normal tones, but singing or chanting creates an increased risk of airborne exposure. So we ask you to refrain for the time being. We invite those of you in the sanctuary to sit back and enjoy listening to our hymns. For those of you at home, go ahead and sing your hearts out. And now I invite you to sit back and take a slow, deep breath as we move into the worship hour. For our call to worship, you are welcome to read with me the mission statement of our church. Our mission is to foster a diverse religious community that celebrates life, affirms the individual, encourages spiritual growth and open thought, and works to advance social justice and environmental sustainability. This morning, we are pleased to welcome Bobbie Ebony Butts to speak on working through the trauma, the emotional impact of family reunification. Bobbie is a mother of 4 children who works diligently and daily to rise above her past and create a path to a successful future for herself and for her children. Bobbie received a general equivalent diploma from Chattanooga Community College in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and earned a diploma in business office administration from UEI. She is also a criminal and social justice policy advocate in Riverside County, and is part of some key organizations that are bringing change in the Inland Empire communities by zealously advocating for change in policies that systematically oppress convicted people. There is currently a distressing amount of children separated from their families, wishing to return home, as well as family members wanting to regain guardianship. Many family members find themselves facing barriers related to post-traumatic stress disorder and are unable to successfully navigate the family reunification process. The Family Reunification Equity and Empowerment Project, FREE, is based on a justice-centered narrative that places children first. We have 2 lightings of sacred flames. The first is the Occupied Indigenous Peoples Remembrance Candle. The second is the lighting of our own chalice, the symbol of our faith. We walk upon the traditional territories of diverse and sovereign peoples, the original people of this land who continue to cry out for justice and self-determination. This spot we occupied was first the sacred space of several groups of California Indians, including the Cahuilla, the Cupeño, and the Serrano. We, the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside, light this sacred flame as the stewards of this sacred and holy place. We are blessed with a space and opportunity to strive to live out our common principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to be part of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey and worship together. Today's reading of the Chalice Lighting is Community Chalice Lighting by Atticus Palmer. We call this light before us in hope that we may always remain a strong community, working together to make the world a better place. When we are grieving or sad, when we are challenged, when we need help, this flame guides us out of the darkness. When we are cheerful, when we celebrate, when we accomplish a great task, when we return to a place that makes us happy, the chalice reminds us to share our happiness with others. Our opening hymn this morning is Morning Has Come. For those in the sanctuary, please sit back and enjoy the hymn, but please do not sing along. Greeting our guests. We have a tradition here at UUCR. We like to welcome those who are visitors or perhaps returning after some time away. But we know it can be uncomfortable to stand up and speak in front of others, and we won't ask you to do something we wouldn't do ourselves. So I'm going to choose some unsuspecting soul or volunteer who has been here a while to tell us your name and how you first found out about our church. Bill will come around with the mic, and we ask you to hold the mic close to your face and speak into it directly and clearly so everyone can hear.
Also, the thing about the how to come out to the aisles and get staff.
Okay, you wanna announce that, Bill?
What?
You wanna go ahead and say that?
Essentially, sometimes there might be a little bit of feedback, so that if you start getting any of that, please step to the center aisle, and it will provide more static-free communication.
So do we have any volunteers today? Okay, I'm not sure what your name is. The lady in the back.
I'm Katie Howard, sorry, Keener Abear, and my son and I had come here probably about 7 or 8 years ago. We were here, we came for about a month or two. I live in the mountains, and it was a little hard for a while, but we decided we'd come back again. I used to go to a Unitarian church in San Diego, and that's called the First Community in Hillcrest, and it was a pastor, a married couple, and the wife married my husband and I, so that was kind of nice. So anyway, we're happy to be back.
Thank you. So that is how it's done. So if you are new here or new again, please stand or raise your hand and Bill will come around with the mic. Okay. Adam, is there anyone online who would like to participate? Okay. So for new guests, our visitors book is in the parish hall. So before you leave, please sign it so that we know you are here and can let you know about upcoming events. For those online, the best way to get added to the mailing list is to email the church office at admin@uuchurchofriverside.org. Okay, so there are a few announcements we'd like to share with you today. During the service, we will mention several websites, email addresses, and phone numbers. At the end of the service, we will leave up a slide with all this information, and it is available on our website. Chat time provides an opportunity to spend an hour talking among ourselves, usually beginning with the service and leading on to various topics. It's held on Zoom at approximately 10:45 today. To participate in person, the location will determine depending on the number of participants and safety per regulations. To participate online, you need a separate Zoom link. So go to our website at uuchurchofriverside.org for the Zoom chat time link. Please be patient. We are working this out. I have a few additional announcements I'd like to share. Art Walk is a community event held in downtown Riverside on the first Thursday of each month. So the last Art Walk was on August 5th, and UUCR hosted the LGBTQ nonprofit group True Evolution in collaboration with the Curative Healthcare Company to provide COVID-19 tests and vaccinations on site at UUCR. Thank you to all who participated and coordinated this effort. And there is a worship committee meeting today at approximately 11:30. Our hymn now is Spirit of Life. If you are in the sanctuary, I invite you to sit back, close your eyes, and listen.
Good morning. This portion of our service is to support our beloved historical church. This can be accomplished in several ways. You may send your check to the church address, which will be shown. You may also contribute using the QR code, which is on the church website and also in the newsletter. Stater Brothers Market gives our church a rebate on Stater's grocery cards, which we will have in church each Sunday. Will our ushers please come forward to receive the collection?
Thank you for your generosity. And to those who give of their time and their talent, thank you for your generous care and attention. Our next hymn is From You I Receive. Please sit back quietly and enjoy.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, from this we live. From you I receive,
Our meditation today is by Karen G. Johnston. Do not be alone right now. Gather together. Gathering together grows courage in ourselves and in others who see the numbers swelling. It is a small thing, but right now it is an important thing. Great sources of wisdom remind us, just because you cannot stem the tide of all hate, it is still right to do the thing you can do. These things add up. Your one thing, and my one thing, his one thing, and their one thing, and her one thing. Together, it becomes a big thing. Do not be alone right now. Any liberation, all liberation, is collective liberation. My freedom is bound with yours, and yours with mine, inextricably. Let us together cast our lots, doing this big thing, bending the moral arc of the universe towards justice. Now let us pause for a moment of silence. waiting on that time right now. Okay. Now I would like to introduce Bobbie Ebony Butts, speaking to us on working through the trauma, the emotional impact of family reunification. Bobbie?
Let me take this off. So, I bring you greetings from all of us anon. May I also express my deep gratitude for being invited to speak again. To be in person is a wonderful thing. This project is funded by Starting Over. It helps some of the county's most vulnerable yet powerful population by addressing homeless, recidivism, re-entry. We have helped over 1,100 men and women and families since it started in 2004. The Family Reunification Equity and Empowerment Project, FREE. The FREE project has created a supportive network of formerly and non-formally incarcerated people and their children who have faced the challenges of the family regulation system, which is Child Protective Service, DFACS. They have so many names, but the family regulation system suits best. And is working to raise awareness and change the narrative and amplify voices of our children who want to be with family members who can love and care for them. By looking into the barriers and the laws and how it serves people's living with criminal convictions. Only 34% of the 20,000 of the 55,000 children in California foster care system are placed with relatives. Working through the trauma and the emotional impact of family reunification. I care about what is happening to you and your children. My CPS case happened many long years ago. I no longer have to worry about the CPS showing up at my door because half of my children are independent adults and my two that are at home say they don't want to go back. I still very much care about this issue. As you see, I do the work now, helping families navigate the child welfare system so they can stay the course to get their kids or their loved ones out of a system that doesn't parent but only places. Tragically, too many cases of CPS stepping in, and whether an honest effort at helping the children or not results into a far worse outcome than anyone could ever expect. Children suffer as a result of the decisions made about their lives, as if they were property to be handed off at will. By the time we parents get done working through our CPS case, we probably all have post-traumatic stress disorder and should be getting the SSI payments instead of having to work. CPS takes family with slight instabilities and then pours on the pain. Takes the children, traumatizing them, perhaps life of the parents, of course, are traumatized beyond the words that can be expressed. CPS causes a horrendous stress and trauma, and Americans should pay for harming these families this way. So with that being said, I hold Family Reunification Equity and Empowerment Hubs bi-weekly on Wednesday at 12 and then at Friday at 6 p.m. This is where we navigate, and that's where I see a lot of the trauma showing up, right? And this is a community for us. And so some of us, and me too, if I didn't have the support system that I created for myself, I don't think I would have made it in there, and the support of my father and the support of my Auntie Jody, let me sit on her lap, and my cousins letting me know, like, you got this, you need some help. My cousin, making sure that I have, Christmas gifts when I showed up to visits for my kids. It took me 6 years to get my kids, but that's about me. But in general, post-traumatic stress, it shows in our body, the pain. Like, you might be like, oh, I can't get rid of this. My shoulder aches. I don't think I slept on it wrong, but it's the stress building up and finding a spot in you to, grow, right? And so, just working through the trauma and stress, we need to make sure that we're considerate of, what other people are going through, and not to take things, I guess, on the surface, because deep down, a lot of us are in pain, especially if we're trying to have some type of family reunification with a loved one, whether it be through the child welfare system or through just us wanting to get along with each other and, have the love that, families are supposed to have. And so, trauma, we need more trauma-informed practices involving ongoing awareness on how traumatic experiences may affect children and families, and to have the human service professionals who serve them partake too as well. I'm sorry, I'm a little sorry. I say I'm a little shiny over here. It's okay. And so, trauma-informed family engagement to clinical practices and resource-seeking strategies and trauma-informed agencies practicing, right? So the ask is, this process, having the child welfare system in your life is, thank you. Having the family regulation system in your life is very, I'm a little triggered now talking about it, right? And I've been practicing, but now I just know that it is a hand-holding process. It is very scary. You don't know. Your lawyer spends 5 minutes with you, telling you to sit there and be quiet. Your social worker tells you, you need to do this and this and this and that. And sometimes that's not your situation, but when you want your children, you'll go do this and this and this and that to make sure that you're in compliance so you can receive your kids or your family members home one day. And so it's hard to, ask your peers, especially if majority of them have lost their kids and never regained them. So you have trust issues, and culture differences. And so I'm just asking, I'm crying, Lord Jesus. So, I'm just, trying to work through it, work with them, be a supportive structure, be a supportive system when they come, because it is so embarrassing, so shameful. I have this one parent, her children were took because her lights were off, because she was sad, because one of her other children had passed away. So she was depressed. The child welfare system came in and they took her remaining children because the lights were off, which had her spiral into a depression and into a drug addiction that she didn't have before the CPS was involved in her life, only for her to not understand what she was supposed to do because she was still depressed about her first child. And even more since they took the rest of the kids, only to lose sight and have her daughter adopted out for the child welfare system to call her up 6, 7 years later and say that somebody shot her daughter and left her at the hospital over here at community. So she's even more, and like I try to get her to come be a part of the community on Wednesdays and Thursdays so she knows. But we have a lots of one-on-ones and just helping her work through the trauma by, letting her, showing her how to do positive affirmations in the morning, saying terrific 6 times, if you're upset. And if you say terrific 6 times, you will smile, right? And that'll change your mood. And so I just know that we could start to try to get some justice for our traumatic stress disorders or depression or any mental things that we're going through while going through this. It's just to be a helping hand, to be somebody to give a hug, because hugs are really great, right? Especially knowing that you might not get to hug your kids again, right? So, okay. So I have some more asks. I asked for volunteer lawyers to come help us with some of these cases, because I can help explain how to fill out some of these JV forms, but we cannot submit them on our behalf. It has to be through a lawyer. So I asked that if there's any child defense lawyers out there that would like to extend their time to families trying to get together, get their families back, I would really appreciate it. Currently, right now, we are running a foster care relative youth placement bill authored by Senator Skinner and co-authored by Brian on the Assembly side, Bryant. And with this bill, well, first of all, let me say, this bill is doing really good. We're, I think, like 2 steps away from it going to Gavin Newsom's desk. And so we got to get it out the House of Appropriations on the Assembly side, and then it has to go to the Assembly floor. So far, we've had no opposition. Everybody has been supportive of Senator Skinner for going above and beyond to try to have family reunification. And with this foster relative placement bill, we will be able to look at some of those non-exemptables that will not allow you to get your loved one or your children out, to have it by case, so they can assess you and what you're doing, so you could get your loved ones out of foster care or your children back home. Because when you have criminal convictions and or you're on the child abuse index system, you might as well tell the babies goodbye. Or if you're in prison or jail for more than 15 months, but if the babies are 3 and under, you only have 6 months. So if you have a 6-month jail time and a 3-month-old or a 3-year-old, if you have more than 6 months, we got to try to get the family together to get the kids. Or we might lose the kids and the kids will be adopted out, names change, and then the more stress begins as they age out or get older, because they want to know who they belong to, right? And so when I meet with my parents, I encourage them to be a leader right next to me, to stand in the gap for their kids and other people's children as well. And let me see. Partnerships with like-minded agencies or community-based organizations to continue offering an intriguing approach to making the child welfare system more open and accessible for families that have been impacted. more education, more awareness. It's so much shame around it. I think when I do talk about it to certain people in certain geographic areas, a lot of them said, I never know somebody cared that much, and that just, brings me to tears every time, because I think if I would have had a program, a project like the Family Reunification Equity and Empowerment Project, I don't think it would have took me 6 years to navigate the system to get my own children back. We would like to improve the outcome of foster youth who don't receive services through the family regulation system by, giving them the support through grassroots organizing, which is very helpful, because if you're a parent who has 1 or 2 or 3 CPS cases, at a certain point, the Juvenile Dependency Court will no longer pay for your services, because the Medi-Cal has been billed. And I guess you can only bill it once in a lifetime. The family regulation system attempts, we would like the family regulation system, the CPS, the Department of Social Services, to attempt at developing a economy of sharing and justice. Where each one gives and receives equal dignity, but rather on sharing lived experiences and incidents that have best practice solutions on getting a family returned home, or back to a family member, or back to their own personal home or their community that they're from. Sharing has to do with sharing in the life of people. It is reciprocal, giving and taking, and not simply a matter of transferring material goods. Our children are not material goods, and so be a part of a powerful political movement that will replace the foster care with holistic approach to helping children be safe and have stable housing and be with their family so they can have the transcendent love that they need. My information is, my name is Bobbie Butts. My phone number is 951-347-4932. You call me, I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna help you get through it. I'm gonna help you figure out how to stay online to get your babies. If I have to refer you to 1,000 places to get you up to par so that the judge, the social worker, your lawyer, anybody else in that place knows that you're here for the best interest of your child or your family member. And my email is Bobbie, Bobbie, at startingoverinc.org. And you can email me as well. Vanya Quarles is the director of the Family Reunification Equity and Empowerment Project, and the office number is 951-898-0862. Over there in the vestibule, I had put some brochures about the free project, if you guys would like to read more about what I do and that. And then you can also follow us on social media. We have an Instagram. It is free_California. We have a YouTube, which is free, which has some webinars and things of that. I do webinars, and forums and events now that we're open back up. I've got a statewide convening that we're gonna do in Sacramento in either January or February. The planning committee has just got together to hash it out. We're going to bring 500 people who have been affected by the CPS or the child welfare system to lift up the things that they've been going through, and some of the successes and some of the losses. And then we're also on Twitter at Family Reunification, Equity and Empowerment Free. And we're on Facebook too as well, Family Reunification, Equity and Empowerment Free too as well. So I'm not for sure if this is my time, but I am done. Oh, okay, so my phone number is 951-347-4932. I forgot that fast. Yes, so I just ask that you guys be mindful because people are dealing with so much today and just coming from being in the house for a whole year and a half to coming back out, trying to get acclimated. It's a process for all of us, but it's a heavier weight on somebody that is going through the CPS, trying to figure out how they're going to work, maintain their place to stay, get their children back, because when children leave, income leaves. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of today. And I hope I shared some good information.
Our closing hymn is For All That Is Our Life. Those in the sanctuary, please sit back and listen quietly.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is our gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is our gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
Our benediction today is The Time Is Now by Kendall Gibbons. The time is now, the place is here, the good we know, the earth we share. This day we have, this love we give, no other truth, no other joy, no other life, no other world. Namaste, amen, and blessed be. Oh, we're not finished yet. Sorry. Thank you, Bobbie, Ebony Butts, for sharing your valuable time and insight with all of us here at UUCR. It is sincerely appreciated, and we hope to see you again soon. There will be a 10 to 15-minute Q&A following the service. Be aware this will be included on the video that is posted. This is a transition for us, and we are trying to figure out how to combine live and Zoom. So please be patient, and we'll figure it out. Bobbie?
You have a question? Okay.
Thank you, Bill. Wow. Okay, you said that you have to be really quick once somebody goes to prison, so the children don't go into adoption. If a child goes into adoption, does the birth parent still get to have a relationship?
Well, it depends on who gets the child, but if a child is adopted out, the foster parent has every right to shut that parent out and not have a relationship. So sometimes, I teach some of my parents that by the time a parent gets to me, their rights are almost terminated. They're at the last straw. And so I start to suggest to them that they make a relationship with the people who have the kids by, just let them know that if there's something they need for their children, to let them know. And, I say, even if you can't get it, call your community and we'll come together and we'll get what you need for that foster parent, because the relationship, you don't want the foster parent saying bad things about mom, dad, and family. That gives a child a complex, right? But if the child can see the mom and the foster parent, or the family and the foster parent have a relationship, they'll understand that we're working together for the best of them. But when mom's like, I ain't seen, my babies and da-da-da-da-da, and the foster parent's like, we don't have to let you see the baby. You're kind of rude, you're kind of this, and you're kind of that. But it's the emotional stress that we're going under that makes us, I talk loud, but I come from a family that if you don't talk loud, they don't hear you, right? They will talk past you. So culture differences and, different stuff like that, but I try to have them maintain a relationship or try to start to foster a relationship with the people who are taking care of their children, because one day, like in my case, my rights were terminated, but I had such a relationship with a foster mom that she wrote that I get my children back, because it had been 6 years and I hadn't missed a beat, but she spoke up for me. So that's why I say, if they can try to maintain a relationship with the foster parent or the guardian or whoever's taking care of the child, if it's just on a speaking basis, hey, how you doing? Nice shirt, nice shoes. You did my baby's hair real nice. It's a good haircut. Interject some positivity in there, because all they know is what the social worker told them about you. That we had to remove these kids in the middle of the night. We had to, these kids said they were hungry, they were ashy, they were dirty, where they were staying at. It's so much speculation going on.
So, because it would seem to me that if I was in prison and somebody adopted my child, maybe they could do better than I could, because I'm not going to have any resources for a while.
Correct, right? But what happens when you do get your resources?
Well, that's the thing.
But now it's too late, because they don't run off our time. They run off of the Adoption State Family Act. That's what it's called. The Adoption State Family Act of 1997 put a time clock on time. So whether if you were in jail or not, You know how hard it is to find housing? You know how hard it is to find a stable job, especially if you have criminal convictions? You know, those things would tie over and it'll pass the clock. You know, and I think for a long time, what kept me from my children, not only my criminal conviction, was that I didn't have a stable place to stay,
Right. No, I
right?
get that. Yeah.
But they couldn't deny me because I continued to show up.
Oh, good. Yeah, good for you. Can I ask another question?
One more.
Okay. You figured me out. So you have like a therapy group on Wednesdays?
So I have a
Support.
participatory defense style group on Wednesdays at 12 and on Fridays at 6 p.m. And so like if you had a CPS case right now and you were like, Miss Bobbie, I don't understand this paperwork, my social worker put this in, I haven't spoke to her, I'll show you how to counteract that with some good stuff so they can understand, as well as maybe helping you fill out a grievance to the ombudsman to show their inconsistency so we can get some type of accountability. I'll show you how to track things, you know, every time you called, every time they called, I'll show you how to
Bobbie,
journal.
do you have a psychologist at that group?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'm a psychologist, retired.
All right, I'm gonna give you my card. Thank you. Thank you for the ask. We need it. We need it. All right. Thank you so much. I love my
So,
you.
at what age can a child ask CPS to see their parents? I guess if that's in the case where they're adopted out, if they have to wait till they're adult, is it the CPS legally obligated to give them the contact information?
Okay, so at 12 years old, you could say who you would like to be with, right? But sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't, right? And then so 9 times out of 10, when kids don't get returned home or to their family members, they age out and they go back to the social service and they say, hey, where's my family? Where's my mom? Where's my mom? I've seen plenty of families be reunified after the age of 18. But during the process of their teenage years, they're running away, but they're running home to the place where they say it wasn't safe. They're running back to their moms, to their families. The same place that they were taken from, they're running right back to it. And it's because of the transcendent love that is given through family. It is the source of knowing who you belong to or from, that what drives us to come back. I always want to know where my mom was at, whether if I want to cuss her out, I want to know. I want to know where she's at, right? And so God rest my mom. She passed away last year, but yes, but I would want to know. And so I've noticed it's been trending through my surveys and my conversations while I'm out that they go back and they ask, where is their family? So I know there was a bill where they were trying to make sure that people go out and find family members so these kids don't have to be placed from place to place. So I need to check on that bill.
Okay, my question is, say a child's put in foster home, do foster parents at some point have the option of adopting that child?
So, okay. So once a child goes into foster home, right? And so say I'm your I'm the child and you're the foster parent, and then I go in there, right? So say I'm everything that you believed I was supposed to be, and the little girl that you always wanted and loved and everything. You'll start to inquire to the social worker, like, hey, how's mom and them doing? Because I would like to have guardianship over her, full guardianship. I would like to adopt her. I would like her as my daughter, right? And so that's how that would go. That would go like that. But it would be up to you as a foster mom to try to maintain some type of secure attachment to my rest of my family because you're not my mom.
Yeah.
But I'm here in your house and you love me, but there's other people that love me too. So I just ask that foster parents extend their hand back out to parents. We're under a lot of stress. We're very sad. We are on our wits' end. And sometimes we do sound irrational. Sometimes we do seem a little hasty. Sometimes, but we're trying to sort it out. We're trying to figure it out, right? And a lot of my parents, the only support they have is the community that we created through the free project.
So is there a support group for foster parents? Perhaps you said that and I missed it.
Yes.
Yes, okay, great.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So we, not only do I help them navigate the child dependency system for where they're at, we do a lot of support too. I do the buddy up, I do the referrals, I do the hours of talking myself late night, early in the morning, I just, because I know what it's like to not have the help you need when you need it, right? Like when somebody hears what I do and they're going through it, it's like music to their ears. It's like they, like, where have you been? Do you know? Before you know, we're sitting there talking for an hour, we're crying, we're trying to get through, we're trying to come up with best practice solutions. So we got a
Hi,
question
right here. I just want to say, you know your issues forwards and backwards, and you're doing a good job.
Thank you so much. Okay. Bobbie.
My question is, would you consider emotional wreckage that's kind of a decimal point thing, but I'm wondering, for your people who are having trouble coping, is there a chance you can say which type of PTSD they might be wrestling with, so that they can simply say, you're hurting this way, you're angry, shutting down, this one's afraid. Do you have some methods to say you are not alone?
Yes, so what I do, we have anger management. I got a referral for people, like, because I can tell, like, when I'm interacting with them, and just like, oh my God, right? There's an anger issue going on, right? Right? And if I'm talking to somebody that just keeps crying, right, which I know it's emotional, right? Then I go and I have a referral to a life coach, right, that will help them with positive affirmations, how to, interject and apply it to their life. And plus, I'm part of this great healing community. I want to say a holla, but I don't want to get it wrong. But yes, Hala Corey, I think that is her name. And she does trauma-informed work. And it's been amazing just for myself personally. And I've been able to apply it with my children, my family, within my workspace, and with the clients who I serve. And so as I'm working with parents, I do a lot of one-on-ones during the week, right? Because a lot of parents are not ready for community, right? Because it's so embarrassing, it's so shameful, the things that brought the CPS to our door. And so within a lot of one-on-ones, I could hear the distress. I can tell if they're going through a financial situation, a housing situation, or financial, all those things cause stress. And so maybe I'm not a clinician to name it what it's supposed to be, but I could feel the pain. And that pain resonates within me, and I'm a person that's been in survival mode. My mom always said, figure it out. So I have to figure it out. And so if I hear the distress of any type, from physically, body language, or just, through conversation or through just stareness like this, and then we'll come up with something, and I'll get you to some people to help you. Because if you're here with me, that means you want your children. That means that you really want your children. And, my parents understand I don't have a magic number or magic code for them to say, hey, it's purple, give me my children. No, I have a method to showing them how to communicate better, how to listen more, and how to go after what they need for their desired outcome, to have their family reunification. We got a question right here.
How heavy is your caseload right now?
So currently, I have at least 85 parents, right? But I have maybe 15 solid participants, right? Because most of the time, by the time they get to me, they're so distressed. I end up helping them immediately. I say, oh, we can do this, we can do that, you can do this, you can go here, you can try that, right? And then once they get their help, they don't come back until it's another situation. But I have 15 strong ones that are, they're here for their children and other people's children as well, because I'm trying to turn my parents into leaders, to stand in the gap, because this work is work that doesn't seem to be, that doesn't, like, when you think of the child welfare system, you're not thinking about harm and family separation and the traumatic and the hurt. You're thinking about children being rescued and helped. But on the opposite side of it is this: we don't know how to get our children back. We don't have the support system to get our children back. We don't know the no's to get our children back. And when you have a social worker whose pen is mightier than a two-edged sword, and an attitude, it's a disaster or failure, and so I just want to, bring community, people who are impacted by this system, or former foster youth. I have former foster youth as well. I've got some families in there that's had like 3 generations of being in the CPS. They mama, they children, they grandchildren, And it's just like, we got to stop weakening people, because it's only increases mental illness, which only makes us vulnerable to go to jail, which keeps the incarceration state rolling and greased. So let's do some healing, let's do some helping. Right there.
Can you talk about how this is a system that's supposed to protect your children, and how many parents you have children go into the system afraid, frightened, but then they come back more damaged. And now parent doesn't have to, they have to deal with a whole set of problems, or a whole set of challenges, and not even the ones that brought them to the department. You can elaborate on how it turned them more damaged than what they left with.
Correct, right. So I can speak to that. I have one child that has she's 21 now. She aged out of there, and she was diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenic. Bless her heart, she was not like that. When they removed my children from me, my daughter was sweet, loving, kind, caring, and clean. Right? And, she's gotten older, which is beautiful, but there's more work to do, right? There's more work to do, but the disrespect is at an all-time high, especially in the home, right? As far as not wanting to go to school, not wanting to clean up, not wanting to listen, not wanting to play their part as their family role in the house, right? And so, especially African-American girls are treated so badly from house to house. My daughters have told me so many stories of things happening to them from this house to that house. If they break a dish, they could be on their way to juvenile hall. You know, it is, and it only just weakens them to go be ready to be placed in jail, right? And so I asked the Department of Social Services, everybody who has a stay at it, protect our children, innocent. Protect our children's innocence. Protect them, protect them. Because I've got some children at home. I said, Lord, what did they do to y'all in here? Because y'all don't want to clean up. Y'all don't want to do nothing. You know, I got to work. I got to clean. I got to do this. I got to do that. While they sit back and say, hey, we don't have to do nothing that we don't want to do because the Child Protective Service said so. And there's nothing you can do about it. So all I can do is verbally tell them about 10 times how dissatisfied I am, and I move on. Because I'm not going back to jail for no children that are children. Thank you so much. Any questions online? None? Okay, thank you guys so much. And I'm gonna give you my card before I leave. I'm so excited. And as well as I'll probably offer invitation to some of the social justice team if they would like to be a part of the planning for the 2022 CPS rally in Sacramento.